So, UFC Fight Night, Hernandez versus Rodriges is going down this weekend, and I, King Hit MMA, will be discussing each fight on the card. Give a like and subscribe. Let's get right to it. We'll start with the first fight on the card. We've got Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed. I'm gonna be honest. I can't remember the last time that I saw Elise Reed fight. And Chanel Dyer, I think she did lose on the Contender Series, if I'm not wrong. But otherwise, Chanel Dyer, she's looked alright in her first fight. She knocked out Ravina Oliveira, but Ravina Oliveira is the worst UFC fighter in women's history, so to get finished in women's MMA is shocking 4 times. Elise Reed's just been a win-loss fighter all her career against very low-level competition. I'm going to go Chanel Dyer by a finish. I think she's shown pretty decent ability. And for the next fight, we have Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVeigh. Now, as much as I don't think these guys are anything special, Jackson McVeigh has had 2 pretty tough outings in his first 2. Losing to Bruno Ferreira, he got dropped pretty hard and then submitted. And then he was beating up Zachary Reese, but then I think he did a low blow, let Zachary Reese recovered, and he submitted. Sorry. Zachary Reese ended up, submitting him. And then he got Cedric Dumas, who is the worst middleweight in the modern era. While Wes Schultz, Damian Penis is going to be a real good prospect at middleweight, so it's really hard to judge. And Ben Johnston is literally retarded. He was winning that whole fight until Wes Schultz threw up a submission. Jackson McVeigh has just shown a lot better performances, even though he's lost his last 2. He's lost 2 of 3. His striking is okay. I think he's a better grappler than Wes Schultz. I think Jackson McVeigh is a better overall MMA fighter. I'm going to go Jackson McVeigh by a KO win. Wes Schultz does not know how to strike at all, so yeah. And plus, Jackson McVeigh is a lot rangier, so yeah. Anyway, let's get to the next fight. We have Gage Young versus hold on, let me see if I can get this right. Stan Dorsainville. I don't know. But yeah, Gage Young, he's starting to make his mark in the UFC. Losing to Evan Elder in his first fight, but, being Masha Tate and Thiago Moises, maybe being the ghost of Thiago Moises, isn't good. He's fighting a debutant in Stan Dawsonville. I don't know much about Stan Dawsonville. I'm not going to go look it up. He's from Haiti. Is this the first Haitian fighter? Yeah, I'm going to go Gage Young. I can't imagine the Haitian MMA scene is great, so go on Gage Young by a decision, because all these fights have gone to decision so far. So, yeah. And for the next fight, we have Mauricio Barboza versus Ryan Kuze. I think it's Kuze. Mauricio Barboza, if I remember right, he beat Dennis Buzukja. I can't remember the finish, but I'm pretty sure it was a pretty nasty KO on pretty short notice. He's a bit shorter at featherweight, 5'6". But, we have Volk, who's proven himself at featherweight. Well, Ryan Kuze, another debutant, literally has no actual picture, which is insane. But, yeah, I'm just going to go Mauricio Barboza by KO. I think he's going to just knock out another debutant. So yeah, I'm gonna go Mauricio Barboza by KO. Anyway, for the next fight, we have, this is dead set one of the best fights on the card. Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Haqparast. This is a fight I can actually get into some depth to. Nasrat Haqparast is actually a really good lightweight. He's always in the top 20. You know, like, he's had some pretty tough fights fighting people like Esteban Rodriges, Jared Gordon. He slimed out Jamie Malaki on short notice. He got knocked out by Quillan Salkeld. Now, he was struggling in that Quillan fight. But besides that, he's been pretty good against decent competition. He always just goes up against someone that's like just that bit better, like a King Green, like a Quillan. While Chris Padilla, he's looked super impressive, man. He's got mostly finishes. That Marco Medeiros fight should have never been a draw. That should have been a finish. But otherwise, he knocked out Ismail Bonfim. Kind of volume TKO'd him. Went to a pretty, Jai Herbert's pretty crafty. I went to a decision with Jai Herbert. Knocked out Rong Zhu. I really like Chris Padilla's inside boxing. It's like a turtle sort of boxing style. Nasrat, it's going to be a real back and forth fight. This is really, really, really close. Nasrat's going to use that lead left with the inside kick. I think Chris Padilla, he's just got a bit more grit about him. So I'm going to go Chris Padilla by a late TKO. I think he's going to take over this fight and really make a standout in this fight. I think Chris Padilla is going to be really good in the lightweight division. So going Chris Padilla by third round TKO. And for our GOAT, Shamil Gaziev, is fighting in this against Kennedy Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu is literally, I don't know how to explain him. He's real rangy, really rangy, striker, sort of real slow though, real slow. If he can't find the knockout in the first round, he will lose a decision. He will struggle. His cardio isn't really there. Going to a draw with Marcus Buchecha is absolutely shocking. And the two people that he's knocked out, Chris Barnett, who is 5'6" at heavyweight, which is insane, and Lucas Bresky, who's one of the worst heavyweights in the modern era. Well, Shamil Gaziev has lost more than he's won lately. I actually rate most of his wins. If you look at his wins, Thomas Peterson has been losing a bit more lately, but it's a better competition. And Dante Almeida is not very good. He took that Waldo Cortez Costa fight on short notice. And the Brando Pericic fight, he had some moments in that one. I really rate, even though he's lost, I think I rate those performances better than Kennedy Nzechukwu's performance against Marcus Buchecha. I'm going to go Shamil the Blob Gaziev to blob his way to a TKO in the second or third round. I think that's what I think is going to happen. Sorry. Yeah. And he's just going to frame mold Kennedy, I think. Kennedy's never dealt with a bigger frame. Anyway, on to the next fight. We have Jamal Emmers versus Leon Douglas. Jamal Emmers. He's always in a weird situation where he isn't actually bad. I don't know where he's bad. He beat Hydro Mill. He out-grappled Hydro Mill. Hydro Mill couldn't get a bit of a smudge decision. Knocked out Gabriel Miranda. But getting knocked out by Nate Landwehr is pretty bad. Jamal Emmers actually isn't that bad. tight boxing, really good grappler. His whole game plan is to get you to the ground. While Le'Veon Douglas, his first fight in the UFC, he was piecing up Julian Rosa. That 1-2 is so disgusting. He's such a killer. I don't know how I rate Le'Veon Douglas. I think Le'Veon Douglas is good. But for him to be $1.23 against Jamal Emmers, who's $4.10, who isn't that bad. I think like Jamal Emmers will give Le'Veon a bit of trouble, especially if you look at some of Le'Veon's losses. It's from the grappling, and he has struggled in the grappling in the past. I'm gonna go with Jamal Emmers. I'm gonna go for the roughie. I think Jamal Emmers is going to use his grappling. He's got KO power. He's real lengthy for a featherweight. I think he's going to smudge Le'Veon Douglas to a decision. So I'm going Jamal Emmers. This is probably my throwaway pick, but yeah, I'm going Jamal Emmers by a decision. So yeah, and for the next fight, we have Anthony Witt versus Terrence Chapman. If we look at these two guys, they're debutants. They're both they aren't both undefeated. I'm just gonna go with Anthony Witt. I don't know any. Look, I would have done study or whatever on him, but I'm just gonna go with the dude that looks fucking jacked. Although he's I'm gonna go with Anthony Witt. He looks absolutely jacked, and he's undefeated. So Anthony Witt by knockout. Anyway, for the next fight, we have Carly Judice versus Chelsea Chavez. Chelsea Chavez got her contract in a scrap on the Contender Series. She could have arguably lost that fight in the Contender Series, but you know, she went to war with what's her name, Dubin, Yunezi Dubin. I just don't think she's proved herself in the UFC. She's been fighting absolute cans in Brazil. While Carly Judice, she's established herself in the UFC. While Chelsea Chavez is going to a decision with Dubin, Carly Judice is knocking her out, knocked out Nicole Cagliari, and went to she boxed the head off Juliana Miller. I'm going to go Carly Judice. She finished Dubin, while Chelsea Chavez is going to a close decision with her. So I'm going Carly Judice by a TKO. Anyway, for the next fight, we have Markel Medeiros versus Mason Jones. Markel Medeiros had a not even a close fight with Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla should have won that fight. That was such a robbery. But and he's going to decision with a lot of these guys in the UFC. He's looked okay, but he hasn't looked super impressive. I think he's very slow sort of striker, while Mason Jones he's not afraid to go into a war. He'll just he's literally Haymaker Valley, Mason Jones. He's gone into absolute wars. He could have taken down Jeremy Stephens at any time. That should have never been a decision. He knocked out Balazioki, who I think is very underrated, and went to an absolute war with Axel Sola. And the only guy he's lost to is Ludovic Klein, which in hindsight, I don't think Ludovic Klein is as good as we think. But he's 4-1 in his last 5. He's going to war. He's a faster striker. He's a lot quicker. He's got grappling. I'm going Mason Jones by a TKO. Marco Medeiros is just a lot slower. He hasn't shown as much. I think Mason Jones is going to get in another war with Marco Medeiros, and I think he's going to TKO him. So yeah, I'm going Mason Jones by a TKO finish. Now for the next fight, we have Reina de Ritter coming up from middleweight, and Roman Dolidze also coming up from middleweight. I don't know why this matchup was made, if I'm going to be completely honest. I know they're both on a loss, but if we look at the level of opponents that these guys have fought, Christian Leroy Duncan absolutely boxed the head off Roman Dolidze, and Anthony Hernandez just bitched him. Well, going to a decision win with Marvin Vettori is not great. He's 0-5. Knocking out Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is always like on and off all the time. And then taking Anthony Smith to a decision is not a great look in the big 26. While Reina de Ritter, who, like, once again, he had he has 2 losses. He had a close fight with Cal Bahalio. A lot of people argued that he could have won that fight. I don't think he did. And I think he was just, like, doing these weight cuts at, like, so many times a year. I think it was very bad that he did that. But beating Robert Whittaker is super impressive. In a very close fight, he KO'd Bo Nickel, who's still looked good since then. And he submitted Kevin Holland super quick. So I think, and plus Reina de Ritter is a natural 205. Roman Dolidze, when he was at 205 to fight Anthony Smith, he looked fucking slow. So I'm going to go Reina de Ritter by submission. I think he's going to bitch Roman Dolidze the way Anthony Smith did. And yeah, I think Reina de Ritter is going to get a first or second round sub. So I'm going Reina de Ritter. Oh shit, sorry. Alright. For the next fight in the co-main event, we have Sergey Spivak. He's a great fighter, you know. Nah. Sergey Spivak is low-key good. You know what I mean? Like, he can... Like, he can beat a lot of guys, but, like, he's been losing to the creme of the creme, like, you know, beating Anti-Delegia in a boxing match, having a close fight with Waldo. Arguably thought he could have beaten Waldo. Getting knocked out by Jonathan Almeida is absolutely shocking, though. Submitting Marcin Tybura. Tybura's passed it. But besides that, you know, Sergey Spivak is a very criminally underrated heavyweight. He could be top 6. I think he is top 6, isn't he? That doesn't matter. Really good with the wrestling. He uses his, like, physical prowess against most people. Well, Vitor Petrino has looked super good at heavyweight. Thomas Peterson was outstriking him at heavyweight, like, before he knocked him out with an overhand. And he had a super close fight with Steven Asplin and got dropped. I think Vitor Petrino is going to struggle with Sergey Spivak, but I think he is going to find that finishing, like, I know this is like, oh, fuck, he's just going to find that one shot. That's not one way to predict a fight. I think Vitor Petrino is going to, like, find his way into the fight and, like, get a TKO finish. And he's got grappling good enough to... He's got grappling good enough to outdo Sergey. So I'm going to go Vitor Petrino by second round KO. I think he's gonna like frame mog him, because if you looked at them, they were like, Vitor is actually bigger than Sergey. I don't know how you ever made light heavyweight. So yeah, I'm going to go Vitor Petrino by second round KO. And for the main event, we have Anthony Hernandez versus G-Rod. Brazilian Obama. Okay. This is what I'm going to say about this fight. If Anthony Hernandez cannot get the takedowns against Gregory Rodriges, Gregory Rodriges will win. He will win by a TKO, KO. He'll frame mog him and he'll TKO Anthony Hernandez. But if Anthony Hernandez gets the takedowns against G-Rod, I think it's going to be a rough night for G-Rod, and I think Anthony's going to smudge G-Rod or possibly get a finish in like third or fourth round. I think Anthony Hernandez's weakness is striking. Because really, if you think Anthony Hernandez is a super impressive striker, I don't know what to tell you. All his wins is by grappling. A lot of his wins are by submission, are by getting him to the ground, controlling them. When he does strike, he struggles hard. Like, the only time I've seen him strike good was Roman Dolidze. It's fucking Roman Dolidze. But every other time I've seen him struggle, he has to drag him to the ground. While Gregor Rodriges, who's got decent grappling, who's got absolute bombs in his hands, I've seen it before. I think Gregor Rodriges is going to use his frame. I think he's going to stuff the takedowns, and I think he's going to eventually just overwhelm Anthony Hernandez. I'm going to go G-Rod by a knockout. So, yeah, before I do this. Okay, so I have Chanel Dwyer, Jackson McVeigh, Gage Young, Mauricio Barboza, Chris Padilla, Shamil the Blob, Jamal Emmers, Anthony Wint, Carly Giudice, Mason Jones, Reina de Ritter, Vitor Petrino, and Gregory Rodriguez. I think this is a good card. I think it's alright. I think it's alright for a fight. It's a 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. But yeah, listen, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I always appreciate it. And I'll see you all later. Thanks. Bye.